Hi y'all, it's Kimberly here. Welcome to my channel. Please ignore this. That was a pimple that I popped perfectly in place. And then the next morning I thought I felt like a hair or a spider on my face, and I went like that, and I accidentally scraped off the top of it and ripped it open and it started bleeding. So just try to ignore that. The weather here today is very odd. It's cloudy, overcast, or odd I say, because by this time, well, actually it's supposed to be like 100 degrees or more today. And usually by this time of year it's like boiling hot. But the last week it has been hot. It's been in the high 90s and probably over 100 maybe one or two times. But the prior weeks before that, for about 5 or 6 weeks, we had very odd, ridiculous amount of rain. It was either raining every day or every other day. We would end up getting like a half an inch to over an inch per day, or each day that it rained. Sometimes it rained for 3 or 4 days in a row, and then it would stop raining for one day, then skip a day, rain every other day. Just a constant, consistent pattern of rain, which we've never had that here before. Of all my life that I've lived in Texas, we've never had rain like that. Maybe for a week it was rainy, and then it would taper off or go away. But this was consistent for about 5 or 6 weeks. I can't remember really when it started. It was like at the beginning of May, or maybe the week before it started, sometime in April. And normally around June the 1st, it just gets boiling hot. It just starts to heat up, or at least into the high 90s, and then tapers on into 100 plus degrees. And we're just now starting to get on that roll of the high temperatures. So that's what's going on now. And the main part of this video is not the Texas weather, but the Texas car inspections. In Texas, you have to have your car inspected once a year, mechanically inspected, and then you get a sticker and you put it on your car. And there's several states that still do this. I think it's probably around 10 or 15. I really don't remember. Probably less than 15. Let me say, or maybe less than 10. I don't really know. A lot of states, many of the states have regularly taken that off the books. So every few years, more and more states would stop the car inspections until it's just down to, actually I think it might be 9 or 10. I think it's not very many states that do this anymore. And Texas has decided not to do that. Our governor, Greg Abbott, signed it into law that we don't have to do any more inspections after, I believe, 2025 or the beginning of 2025. So I think I might have to just inspect my car just one more year, or I'm not sure well, I have to do it this year. My inspection's due in October of 2023, and then I may have to inspect it in 2024, I believe, but then after 2025 I don't think I have to ever inspect it again, which I'm so happy for that. That is such a relief. I have complained about this before, and it's just a hassle. I hate it. It's a scam. I know that people think it is good for safety, but I have been scammed or been put in compromising positions just to get my car inspected, which is, I'll explain about that later. But in Texas, you have to inspect your car once a year, and you also have to register your car once a year, which means you go to the courthouse and you pay it's mostly just paying a bunch of fees to allow yourself to drive the car on the road and prove that you own the car, and that you have proof that you own it year by year. It's like paying a tax just to be able to drive your car or whatever. And I don't know if every state has to register a car. If you own a car in every state, if you have to do that. But I do know that a lot of states do not make you inspect your car. And when I say inspect your car, you have to have your lights inspected, have the brights inspected, make sure the blinkers work, make sure the horn works, make sure your tires the tread is at a certain level. your brakes work. There's numerous things that they inspect on a car, and you usually take it to a mechanic, or either sometimes they have these little inspection shops that are certified, and that's all they do. They just inspect cars all day long. That's how many cars they can inspect. They can make a whole business out of it. And I'm so glad this is over with. I hate it. If you don't, or they changed the law, now you have to get your car inspected in order to register your car, and you have to get the inspection first. So they've clumped those two things together. So you won't be able to register your car to prove that you own it and have it in your name, because people have been able to steal cars by, if they find a car, I don't know how they do it, somehow online they do it, and they register the car in their name, and they come and take the car and basically steal the car from you. And that's a fraud that it's not real common, but it has happened. So registering your car in your name, you always want to do that, which I don't have a problem with that. I'm fine with that. It's mainly just a kind of a tax fee and stuff to allow you to drive your car on the road, and plus you get paperwork that says it's registered in your name, And you also, I believe you may have to use that to get your insurance. I can't remember. To start the insurance, I'm not sure. I don't remember. My car's always been insured, but you do have to go get it inspected now, and you take that paperwork to the courthouse to get your registration. And used to, you could just do them two separate things. So if you didn't get your car inspected, mechanically inspected, if you didn't get that sticker for the inspection, you could still go and register your car in your name, but you can't do that anymore. They clumped them together. And when they started doing that, I didn't like that. I used to sometimes be late on my inspections, or I didn't inspect it for, I think I got away with like 2 years, 2.5 years of not inspecting one of my cars. And a couple of times I was late on my tags. I usually do my tags because I want it to be, proof that it's my car in my name. I don't have a problem with that. But the inspection, the car inspection, I can't stand that. There's numerous times I've gone to get my car inspected, and this happened to me when I was young, right when I was a teenager. Numerous times, probably half a dozen times or more, that I was told that, well, if you give me your phone number, I'll just slap the sticker on it for you. We'll do it that way. And I was very young. I was like a teenager, and I was like, and it was not the most attractive person, a lot of times they were older, they were mechanics, and I was like appalled, like, ugh. And sometimes I'd get upset and I'd just drive off and try to find another, and I would tell the other mechanic, oh, this mechanic tried to make me, and, they would, I know that they probably either heard that story before, or maybe they did it themselves. And there's times where I was just okay, and I just gave them a fake phone number just to get my car inspected, And then I've had numerous times people telling me that my brakes weren't good enough. This is one of the biggest scams, is the brakes. They want you to do work on the car, and there's other things, the muffler, other things that they'll tell you. They'll poke a hole in something. There's things that they can do to make your car not pass the inspection. And sometimes you're not even aware that your lights are not working, or they'll loosen a light bulb. And sometimes when I've taken my car to get inspected, they've spent like 20 or 30 minutes, and this is a long time ago. So usually I go to those little specific inspection houses, just the business where you just drive in. They have a bay, you just drive in, and all they do is they check a few things, they do it really quickly, they give you your ticket. There's less scamming in those kinds of legitimate businesses, rather than going to just a mechanic shop where you have to wait until a mechanic is free, and then they'll come over and they'll take your car and they'll inspect it. If you go to those places, a lot of times it's kind of a waste of their time, so they want to be reimbursed, because they get paid a fee by the state for doing the inspection, I believe. But the the inspection fee goes to the state. Or somehow they get some little amount or token amount for inspecting cars. But they want to make money. They're mechanics, so they want to make money. And numerous times I've been told, well, your brakes are bad. And I have just had my brakes worked in like 5 or 6 weeks ago, and I know they're good, and there was nothing wrong with them. They were working really good. They were working much better than when 2 months ago before I got them worked on. So I know that they were trying to scam me, and that's happened to me several times. And I've known other people that, yeah, they say that one guy was telling me, yeah, they poked a hole in my muffler because there was nothing wrong with it. It wasn't making a loud noise or anything. So I've heard numerous stories like that. And my ex, this happened to him twice. When we got married, I told him, I don't want to deal with mechanics. I don't want to inspect the cars. You take them. I can't stand that. And I told him the things that have happened to me. The first year that he took the car, I think it was his car, and then he took my car 1 year. 2 times in a row. He took it to a mechanic. We had just got the brakes done like 5 or 6 weeks before, and the mechanic told him, your brakes are so bad, you're going to have a major brake job. It's going to be about $500 or $700 or something like that. And oh my God, my ex just went off on him. No, we just got this done. These brakes are really good, and they're, just very upset, and realizing what I was saying was true. And he came home, he was so hot, so mad, and he was like, where's the receipts? Where? Because I would file all the receipts and everything away. And I gave it to him, and he went back to that mechanic and shoved it in his face and all this. And then the second year, 2 times in a row that happened. And I told him, see, it's a scam. It's just, the mechanics, they want to be paid back for the time that they spend. It's just a nuisance. And so I'm very happy, very glad that the car inspection is going away in Texas. I know that people say it reduces safety, and yeah, there's a probability that it does, but you drive for a whole year without that inspection, and you go in there just to get inspected for 1 day. Things can happen a month or 2 months after you get that inspection that can make your car dangerous. And so you can drive for a whole year without it, or, so it kind of, in a way, it's like, yes, for the moment, you can catch things, but that's just 1 day, not even 1 day, one short period of time out of an entire year that somebody can say, yeah, okay, that's good, And so, yes, there is a caveat to that, but I think it's more of a scam and a nuisance, and I've heard so many stories, and I'm so glad it's over with. And for all the states that never had to do it, if you've never had to do it, I wish I never had to do it, because I've spent a lot of money, a lot of time arguing with people, being scammed, being treated, being harassed as a woman going to get my car inspected, which is something I don't know a whole lot about cars, but I do know a little bit. And I do know that when I get my brakes done, and I can tell, 6 weeks after I'm driving on a brake job, that they turn the rotors on, put new pads on and everything, and I can tell the difference when I'm driving, and you try to tell me that, no, your brakes are bad, I do know the difference with that. So I'm just very, very happy it's over and done. Well, thank you all, and thank you for coming to my channel, and I'll make another video soon. Thank you.